Hello, this is Gorgnak with another Redstone video. In this video I am actually going to be demoing the various devices that I have made. I've made clearly all of them in creative mode. I've used most of them in survival mode. I made a couple specifically for this video. Anywho, let's take a look. And I will give you a brief overview of what everything looks like. You can see all the minecarts going through anyhow, but let's get started. First thing I'm going to show you is a basic gate. It's designed to be as compact as possible. I'm sure it can be a little more compact, but when you turn it on and off, the gate opens and it closes. It's pretty simple, nothing too complex. This one is a little more complex. It basically is the exact same thing. It's designed to hide the mechanisms a little more. I mean, if I put stone right there, I'd hide that part too. Anywho, but yeah, this one's openable from both sides, so it doesn't matter which side I am on. I can open the gate from this side. I can close it from this one. It doesn't matter because of this XOR gate here. I chose the XOR gate because it's smaller than the XNOR gate. Anywho, let's take a look at the next one. This one here is a 4-high gate. I personally like this one. It's pretty nifty. And as you can see, you have a pretty high clearance right here. And it doesn't matter which side you operate it from. It opens and it closes. There is a little bit of show through right here. That's because I've used stairs and sticky pistons as my method of basically the way the gate looks. And it uses an XOR gate, a signal extender, and this little observer right here. There's a lot of repeaters, as you can see, but that was mainly just to sync up the top and bottom parts of the gate. And the reason why this gate is a little complicated is because in order for it to close, you need to activate the bottom piston first, then the top one. However, in order for it to close, if you activate the bottom one first again, a piston that's extended can't be moved by another piston, so you need to pull the top one down first, then the bottom one, and then the top piston again. So that's what makes it a little more complicated, but it's not as difficult as it looks, although the first one I made was really huge. And as you start working with redstone more and more, your systems, your circuits will be a lot more complex and smaller. All right, this guy right here is an elevator. This is a motion machine. I basically stole it from the internet, and it'll keep going until it hits an unmovable block, such as obsidian, or I believe it's 15 blocks is when pistons can't push anything. But and then this is what it looks like with all the mechanics around it. It's mostly just a casing. The mechanics aren't very complex. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you. You push the button. You go up, you push the button, you go back down. It's not super complicated. It is kind of nifty. But yeah, that's it. Alright, this guy right here. Oh, I should show you the sign, shouldn't I? It says it's an upward item pump. So, let's go ahead and show you what it does. Let's take some of these items out. Alright, we will put them in our minecart hopper. You can use a chest as well, a minecart chest. I just picked the hopper just because. So I'll put the items in there, turn on the powered rail, and we'll go ahead and we'll push it in, and the gate stops it from moving. As it starts to depositing its payload, it starts moving everything in here. Hoppers move faster than dispensers, so that's why it's pooling in the bottom one, but it is still pushing it up through the device. And you can see more and more skulk sensors are being placed into this box. And I'll show you the mechanics of it real quick. And then this is a repeater and whatnot. Okie dokie. Let's go over to this guy right here. This is a resource collector. Let's go ahead and I'll show you. Melon. So we'll put a couple of melons here as an example of when they actually finally grow. And the pistons crush your resource, and the minecart with hopper will come up and it will gather it in, and it'll hit this right here, and then it'll dump it in here. And then this is the part where the detector rail actually activates all the pistons. So, yep. And then all these glowstones are for light to make the thing grow. All right. This right here is a automatic sheep shearer. It works basically the same as the resource gatherer. In fact, we're going to put here sheep shearer. Except in this case, we have some dispensers with shears in it, which actually shear the sheep. And once the minecart hits this part of the detector rail right here, click, click. And in fact, it actually, I think it pulled some wool off this time, so hopefully we can see it do its thing. Yep. And then it puts it into this chest right here. Alrighty, I'm going to break that, so okay. This right here is an incinerator. I made it because it took like 5 minutes to make. I have actually used these in survival, like when you're farming and you have 8,000 chicken eggs. You put the items in there and it'll just spit it into the fire over and over again. This one uses a dispenser. You're probably better off using a dropper, but this one's a dispenser. Alright, let's move on to the minecart docking bay. I do like this one quite a bit. Let me reset it. And the way this one works is this is the endmost bay right here. So once you throw a minecart in it, it'll hit this one, and it'll change the direction of that, and then it'll go into this path, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and just show you real quick. I push the minecart in, and it'll go to the farthest most bay, and it'll not stop because I have, oh, man, I'm goofing up everywhere, aren't I? Because this powered rail was on. So let's do that again real quick. So it'll go to the farthest most bay. No, it won't, because you got to reset the system afterwards. Oh man, I'm still keeping up my track record of messing up. Let's see if it works this time. Push it through. Yep. And then the next one I push through will go to the next open bay. The next one will go to the next open bay. So on and so forth until it gets to the last one. And this is kind of an overflow station. And then if you want to reset the system, you have to push this button. And it basically allows you to start using it all over again. That's what I forgot to do after I pushed the first minecart through. And then you have these little levers. So when you do have a minecart on it, you can turn the lever on and push the minecart through back to wherever it came from. Alright, this right here is a minecart transportation hub. I do like this one. It looks pretty complex. It's not as bad as it looks. Mostly the wiring underneath. Oh yes, I'll show you the mechanics of this guy right here. And then the way the minecart hub works is through these capacitors, which once it hits the device right here, it triggers on, it stays on, and it makes it so these rails adjust themselves in the correct position. And there's basically a lot of them repeated over again. And so when you push this button, signal will go through and reset all the capacitors to their default off state. And that's how that little piece works right there. So back to the minecart transportation hub. This one I do like. So the way it works is you're in your minecart, you go, and you stop on this, and you can pick your path. And then once you push the button, so right now, let's say we want to head to path E. You push this button, we start moving forward, and it will move me all the way over to path E. And once it hits this, it resets everything again, so you can use it again. In fact, let's go ahead. The default path is A, as you can see from that sign. You use this button if you want to go to the default path, and it should move me all the way over to path A. And again, if I run a different path, it would reset everything. And I do like this. It's kind of nifty. And it basically ends up using these capacitors right here, which flow underneath the system to these redstone torches, and it turns on and off the redstone torches to change the path of these rails. Okie dokie. Let's mosey on here to the item sorter. This one is pretty nice. I took this one from the internet as well, but let me go ahead and do something real quick. Make it daylight so it's a little easier to see. Okay, so you end up putting your items in here, and then I have the little pictures right here. This is basically what it sorts and what puts it where. There's nothing in any of these, nothing in any of them. And so once I flip the switch and turn the power to the hopper off, it'll begin sorting the items. Yep, see, put the 3 gold there, the 3 raw iron there, and then the 3 observers. Yep, I don't know why it's being a little weird. Whenever I have open chests, this hopper system is a little weird. Anywho, but yeah, it sorts the items, and anything that doesn't match the criteria gets thrown into here. It basically works using this little figure, this setup right here. Top hoppers that go left, these hoppers that go nowhere, and then this last hopper that goes into the chest you want. You know, and comparators and stuff. Anywho, let's hop over to this right here. Actually, let's do something a little simpler. This is a basic auto harvester. You can't auto plant unless you use the command block, but quite simply, when you push this button once, the water will push what you need right into, oops, you might want to have this go up a little more, otherwise your stuff will fall at the top. That was a little boo-boo in my design. Stone. And there we go. It's a little bit better. And then it collects everything into here. It's a pretty basic design. Nothing real special, just dispensers and water buckets in here. And when you push the button again, it sucks all the water up, and you're good to plant. I usually put these slabs in so you don't have to fall from one block to get to your farm block. Otherwise, you could break up your farm block. Okay, this one right here is an auto grower, and I will show you how it works. You put the seeds in here. And then once you push this button, it'll activate these dispensers that have bone meal in it 4 times. And then once they're done doing their thing, it'll activate this dispenser with the water bucket twice. So we'll push the button, grow, and then it'll flow into the thing. And then you basically have to plant everything again, over and over again. But it is pretty nice. And then I'll show you again real quick. Boop. It grows, and then the water pushes it into these hoppers on the end, which feed into these chests. So let's go ahead and take a look at the mechanics real quick. Here's the input button. We have what appears to be a signal pulse. Oh man, brain's not working. A couple of pistons, observers, and this goes to this guy right here, which operates the bone meal, and then this one right here, which then operates the water bucket dispensers. All right, moving on. This one is a flower/yellow dye harvester. It's actually pretty basic. It works similar to the other harvesters, but this one you have to plant the bone meal down. You walk up to the tripwire, activate the dispensers. Since yellow dye can only be obtained through these dandelions and sunflowers, this is your best method for harvesting flowers and yellow dye. And it feeds into these hoppers, which feed into a chest like other ones. Doot. And then you kind of just repeat this process over and over again. It doesn't do a whole lot other than that. But yeah, so the tripwire is hooked to a piston, which is hooked to an observer, and then it hooks up to these repeaters. Okie dokie then. Let's go to this over here. This is a very basic combo lock. The good thing about this combo lock is that it is very compact. It doesn't really require a whole lot. It basically uses the variation of the AND gate. So if any of these are in the incorrect position, it will not turn on. And the correct, other way, huh? Boop, 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 boop. And then the gate will open. Or, yeah, the door will end up opening. So, and then I even wrote the password down here. You think I would have looked at it. It's up, down, up, down, up. And the way you can change the combination is basically by replacing any of these with redstone or torches. So if you look, all the torches, all the ones that have torches are on or down, and it opens up. One thing, if you are going to make this gate, you can't operate it from the inside. So you have to have this little OR gate right here. Put this lever here so it stays open. You can reset your levers, and then you can walk back in, and then bam, you can close the door like that. That is probably the best way to reset the locks. Okie dokie. That over there is a much more complex lock, but we'll get to that. This guy right here is a timer. It goes for about 45 seconds. Let's see here. 27 times 3 is 54. So it has a running time of around 54 seconds, a little longer because of the repeaters that are in there. But it'll end up passing items between these two hoppers, back and forth until it gets emptied. And we'll take a look because it's about to switch over. Yep, so this one turns on. It turns off this capacitor over here. And then it starts moving items into the other container. Okie dokie. So we only have a couple more devices left. This guy right here is a very nifty one. It's a binary counter. You can also make a regular counter. I guess I'll have to explain that in my binary counter video. But for those of you who know binary counters, this is a value of 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. But we'll go ahead and we'll flip it on. So 1's on, then it's a 2. Now we're at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I could go on, but I don't think you want to see me go all the way to 32. Because once you get to 32, the system will reset, and all the counters will go to 0. So, okie dokie. Oh, and then I guess I'll show you the device mechanics real quick. It's not that complex, but it can be a little confusing. So I guess I will go into detail about it later. Because yeah, I don't want to take up the whole video here, but this is just an overview of what it looks like. And then, this is my reset right here. Okay, and then the last one, I believe the last one. Oh, and then one quick thing, if you hook up this clock to the binary counter, you can get yourself a binary clock. So that's kind of cool. I actually have one of those in another one of my worlds. All right, so this right here is a 4-digit lock. and I have the combo right here. The combo is 1, 3, 1, 4. So we'll go ahead and we'll enter 1. And once it gets the signal, this light will turn on. 1, 3, 1, 4, and the door will open. And then I have this nice little tripwire here that resets the whole circuit, and it'll close the door back up. If you mess up, let's say you do 2, 1. Oh, you can't push these buttons in quick succession, otherwise it won't follow through. So I entered in the combo completely wrong. The door does not open. You can always reset it by pushing this reset button. And that's actually what this tripwire hook goes into. It hits the reset button, and it'll reset the entire system. This is the most complex thing I have made. It uses functions of the binary counter. In fact, it uses the functions more of a regular counter than a binary counter. And so, yeah, it looks more complex than it is, because basically everything from here over is mostly wiring, getting the redstone signals to the right places. But yeah, that is all of my devices. The ones I took from the internet were this item sorter and this elevator, if I didn't say so already. But alrighty, I will show you how to make each of these one by one in a later video, because they do take a bit of time. So if there's any ones you want to see sooner than later, go ahead and put something in the comments, and I will work on that one over the other ones. Alright, thanks for watching.